Versus how you balance out your team. That's what it really comes down to. And you think that they're better utilized in a different way. But that's why when I make the point, at that point you have to question, to me, your commitment to running that role.
And I think it's trust that goes along with it, because as the Oklahoma Thunder came in prior to the playoffs, they had a distribution of scoring teammates across the floor, and maybe their only weak point was maybe at direct center, because they had Serge Ibaka and then Perkins coming in to get used to or adapt to the system. But you could see them playing when they played the Lakers, that you had Harden, you had Westbrook, you had Durant, you had Collison. It is now pulled back to a team that's just 1-2. So what's happening to me is that they're going, your options are limited to 2 players now. It used to be the big 3. Option of a 4th maybe here and there. Now you're just the 2. As you elevate to the next round, you don't think the scheming is going to be like this. We can focus on making Durant the second player, Westbrook the first, because he's going to turn the ball over, which he's proven to do. So I'm not knocking changing his play. I just think when they sit there and say, you know what, let him keep doing what he's doing, he's prone to turn the ball over.
I listened to the coach talk about, and he seemed to know his team, about how he follows those trends, and he was comfortable with the role that Westbrook had played.
Very much.
You remember that?
He's not going to throw him under the bus.
Well, and plus he was comfortable. So again, my thing is this: you can't argue with the success.
Right.
I think for all these guys, these top guards, the ones to me that end up being the ones that stand out are the ones who actually break the role of that tradition.
Right.
That's why you guys now call them scoring point guards.
Right.
Isn't that just to say the same as the guy who does everything? I mean, if you're a scoring point guard, that's just doing everything now.
Right.
Throw in a defensive score, an excellent defensive play.
Right. It's like, they're going back to the Allen Iverson days and saying, look at the players who controlled. Whether it's Kobe Bryant, 2-guard, scoring guard, I said, look, the most you get out of a team. What was Magic Johnson? I can't help it. They're going to compare him to the great ones and said he wasn't that athletic. What he did is say, I'm going to get everybody involved. Is it better to get more people involved or me to score a lot?
It's probably better always to get more people involved. But again, if you need a point guard on the Lakers to set up Kobe,
right,
if that has to be the reason why you're really having it,
right,
to set up Kobe to run, versus having an offense where it runs other ways,
right,
and then gets the ball to Kobe. That's the part I'm not so sure the relative value,
right,
whatever.
Yeah. And the question becomes really why we're asking this. First of all, I love the way
we're
Westbrook
debating
plays.
Because it's about the trade.
Look,
it's about the trade, right?
Right.
It's about what do the Lakers get.
Look, and I'm saying this. I'm still going back to the Oklahoma Thunder. I said, look what Perkins is getting, just scoring 6 points, fouling out, and teams get players to actually have fouls, to say, hey, I can afford to have people play in roles defensively of buying more fouls. Oh. This is the part where I say Perkins is playing a good role at Oklahoma, knowing that he's not going to be the threat to score. Not the same mentality.
Let me ask you this, though. I forgot, because I think you do have to include Ibaka in your offensive expectations.
Yes.
Because, so it's not for them. At least a 3. At least a 3. It's actually more to me. I'm just saying it's at least a 3.
They were 3 or 4 deep, dude.
Right.
They came in playing the Lakers, and I said, "Who are you guys going to stop right now?" I said, "You got 4. You got 3 solid ones." James Harden came in. He's supposed to be an impact.
Solid.
So that's he's 4. Not this. Somehow he has been removed as a third cog. Now it's 1-2. It's just 1-2.
But it's again like Ibaka, who at times it seems like steps back. At any moment he can come through.
You know how many minutes he played yesterday, man? Less than 20. Now that's telling you something about
the coach. But again, we don't know what's all going on. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, I agree. Well, okay, now we know that for the most part, it's a chance that Memphis still can make it. I love the 1-2 punch of their point guards, O.J. Mayo and Mike Conley. So, I don't know. It's going to take some time. I like what Zebo is doing. I just love his game. I'm going like, you guys can't figure out how to stop this man, and he works his way down the paint. So it's going 7 games, and I can't wait to see the outcome. But I want to get into something, because I believe right now there's a market value for all of us to get involved in who we like to see in the championship with the remaining teams, including the Boston Celtics, who really basically is 1 game away from being ousted. What teams would you like to see to make for the most entertaining NBA championship? Now that we don't have the media market teams, LA and Boston, in them, Miami's expected to represent the East at this point. We got Atlanta over there in Chicago. What teams do you think will give you more joy, Mario, to see in the NBA Finals?
I think Miami Heat versus the Dallas Mavericks. But let me say this: it's the finals that are going to be really exciting. That's one thing I love about the NBA, Vic.
Right.
There's just more levels of good games that you get because. Right. We have to skip right past Miami and Chicago, and I find that so hard to skip past. Even though I think that Miami Heat is going to win that, I think that's going to be one hell of a slugfest. And some of these things are going to come down to how well conditioned you are and lack of injuries, because some of these are going to be some really physical competitions.
Right.
So. Just like, let's assume Dallas versus the Oklahoma Thunder. See, we presuming that. But, man, that's hard to presume, Vic. See, that's one thing I love, again, about the NBA.
Right.
Because it is so hard. But, yeah, I think it's going to be Miami Heat versus the Dallas Mavericks.
You think so?
But Vic, that's so hard.
You see,
that's so hard to I don't see Atlanta in there.
Well, here's the hard part. I say, what team, I'll make it easy for you.
Or the Grizzlies.
What team what matchup you don't want to see in there if you had to start that direction? Because I truly believe the Chicago-Miami game is going to be good, but definitely an advantage.
If they get there, I think any of them would be good.
Yeah,
I actually don't have that reaction because what happens is the sorting out is too.
Well, to me, I think the game that is going to be really telling is how Miami plays against the defense of Chicago. And I think Miami has the Chicago Bulls number to a certain degree, just a certain, because Miami is elevated, and Chicago has somewhat suffered in offense. Their defense can only do so much. And unless they're like the Detroit Pistons of the Bad Boys days where they say our defense is making up for the lack of our offense, Chicago has a big problem. It's Derrick Rose, and then there's who?
Well, the matchup thing will be interesting.
Yeah.
See, because I think the unexpected part is that we didn't expect some teams. It has so much to do with the matchups, and that's why.
Right.
When you change, all of a sudden it's not what we're not getting what we expected in terms of the individual matchups.
Right.
We've been shocked by some of those.
Yeah. So I'll do this for you. I'll say the names and there are more combinations, and see which one just by audio says, okay, I'd like to see this. NBA Finals. I'll start Miami Heat, Dallas Mavericks. I think I know.
That's hot.
That's the one. What about Chicago Bulls versus Oklahoma Thunder?
That's hot too.
Okay. Atlanta Hawks and Memphis Grizzlies.
I can't imagine that. I just can't imagine it. You can say it. I just can't imagine it.
Can't make it come out of.
It's not going to happen. And let me just say, they represent so well.
Right.
They have to be taken seriously, and I am taking them seriously.
Right.
It could happen.
Right.
It certainly could happen.
Okay.
Okay, with either of them, it could happen.
It could happen. That's why I put them down there, is because there's possibility.
It could happen, and if it does happen, by then, I'd be willing to see it.
Okay. Now, what about Miami Heat, Oklahoma Thunder?
That's cool.
That's cool. Now, here's the one that's...
See, there's a bunch of... Okay, the matchups, all of these present so many matchups. And that last one, I'm thinking about Bosch versus... See, it's going to end up that Ibaka and them go inside on him and all of them.
Right.
It's going to be some stuff.
What about...
It'll be some stuff, seriously, with Miami and Oklahoma.
What about the remote chance that Boston Celtics...
I can't imagine
to Dallas Mavericks.
I can't imagine.
You can't imagine it. Yeah, right. I got you.
But if it was to get there, they just couldn't... They couldn't... That Dallas is too much for them.
Right.
That's why I don't expect them to be there.
The part I like about the matchup of Miami Heat and Dallas Mavericks so far is because the center play is not on both sides kind of what they call the big man to stop, because Nowitzki is not the big man underneath. He's the big man who shoots outside. Bosch is not a center. So it's just teams that say we don't rely on the big man down in the middle to be the enforcer.
Both sides, that's what's kind of interesting. So both Nowitzki and Kevin Garnett are going to be out on the periphery with playing three-pointers and jump. Right. Which is, okay. But even still, let the matchups go where they go.
Right.
It's still significant.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. It's not over, you guys.
Happen.
It is not. First of all, the Boston
Celtics
against, say, the Memphis Grizzlies. That's a long shot.
Happen.
Long shot. All right.
Right. All of these the Boston Celtics against anybody.
It is a long shot.
It's not going to happen, you guys. And I'm,
I know. That's okay. We still have the lockout looming, so we're going to find out a lot probably in the next several months. But I'm going to go to what I call our closing of the new sports segment, where we go, Do You Believe? You only have one or two Do You Believes, and it's going to be interesting because I think football is going to always be year-round now. And I think because of the new social media thing and that people still want to follow what athletes do in the offseason. So here it is. Do you believe Albert Hainsworth is not guilty for sexual abuse when inappropriately touched a woman's breast while sliding his credit card inside her blouse? Do you believe he's innocent, Mario?
So he probably got smart with some babe and stuck his credit card between her, and so
he just stuck it down. When he stuck it down, he found,
See, charging people with sexual abuse for that makes a mockery of the real abuse victims.
That's right.
It's something. It's something. Okay, it's something. How much of a crime and all that? Well, you should go to jail. It's another. It's certainly bad taste and offensive.
Yeah.
Now, does he go to jail for it? I don't know if you go to jail for that.
Right.
I think the hassle of having to appear and getting maybe a fine is probably enough.
Or is it true?
Or having that be in public. It could be true.
Yeah. We see.
Sometimes people tend to treat all women like strippers, and that's going to blow up on you.
Well, here's the part that I say. Now, I'm just saying this. Let me
Deservedly
just say this.
so.
Let me say this. Is there a point? I'm going to take the side that I don't know. And let's just say both are right. So I'm going to represent both are right. Albert, you're guilty and you're innocent. The claimant or the victim to be is right, or you're wrong. Either one. I said, now, at the point that he wants to put the credit card somewhere, did she go, no? And he said, go ahead.
I don't know enough of the story. That's what I'm saying.
See, the part that I go isn't it better to just say, here, put the credit card here? Somewhere along the way, it was allowed. Now, that doesn't excuse Albert. Albert, once you put the card there, keep your hands off if that's what you did. But in the meantime, to avoid scenarios like this, isn't it best to say, let me take your credit card? How did it get to the breast?
I have no idea. Fill in the blanks. And send me a check.
See, that's why we say, do you believe? It's a hard one.
There's no question mark, so it's a statement, I guess.
Yeah, it is a statement.
Do you? Well,
don't worry about it. Yeah, I know. I don't. I like to play around with this. He gives me a hard time on this, always. All right. Now, Reggie Bush was in the news for something, and I think this is super overblown. Okay, look.
It is, but it isn't.
Is it wrong for Reggie Bush to
tweet? It's not wrong.
He's relaxing and chilling and would be slaving in 100-degree heat.
It's not wrong.
If not for the lockout.
It's not wrong.
Okay.
On the other hand,
right.
His ass should be running some extra laps.
See?
He should be running some. He should to prolong his career. He needs to be one of the most dedicated to conditioning cats. I don't think he has the Tiki Barber and all them working. I don't know. Some people are known for workouts or whatever. But I don't know. But I would guess, I would just guess that it doesn't reflect well on what appears to be his career that's ending.
They're actually, the part I like about what Twitter is doing, it's kind of replacing resumes. The resumes is what you do to get inside. And then now people are going you're affecting your